today we're speaking about refugees and this exhibition is about refugees. Why has it been important to you over the last decades to photograph refugees?
Well, there's several reasons. One is just um, the compassion for our fellow human beings. I think that witnessing history in a pivotal time in a place, whether it's Afghanistan or Syria or Lebanon or Cambodia, um, actually seeing these situations firsthand for yourself, to be able to make up kind of your mind about, what's going on here, and then to be able to maybe help these people who are caught between warring factions, people who are just living their lives in a village or a city, and then suddenly sometimes within minutes or hours, having to flee for their lives with just a few belongings over on their back. That could be sort of any one of us at any time. There's natural disasters, and you think life is good and comfortable, and then suddenly, there's a typhoon or a tsunami or a hurricane, or whatever. And so I think we really need to look out for each other. And imagine a child who, we all want children to grow up in a normal way, to be able to learn and have the love of their families, and having that trauma of being displaced for whatever reason is just it's so tragic. So I think we have to lend a helping hand when people around the world are in need for whatever reason.
Is there something that particular about refugees when you've been in the presence of that movement of refugees and they're fleeing? And is there something specific about that moment or about what's inhabiting?
Yeah, well, there's the stoicism, and there's there's a perseverance and a fortitude that you see in these people. They're suddenly in this terrible situation, but there's that will to survive, and they just have to move forward. And it's so heartbreaking to see children loaded onto a truck in the middle of the night. Maybe it's cold, they don't have the right clothing, and they're not exactly sure where they're going to go, and then there's a question of food, and it's so disjointed and disruptive, and you just can't imagine. So being in that situation, we all grew up in very comfortable lives, and to be in that situation where suddenly there's all these unknowns, you're cold, you're hungry, you're thirsty, it's your like worst nightmare.
Mm-hmm. Why is it important for us to care? People who have been brought up, and this is quite far away from people sometimes in the West, where you don't have so many natural disasters or wars at the moment. How and why is it important for people that are not personally involved to care about what's happening with refugees?
Well, we have to care because we're all human, and we all have that empathy, and we should have compassion. The same way we should care about the environment and animals, wildlife. But we need to look after people all over the world. It's by no fault of their own. They're plunged into this nightmare, and we just have to. It's the right thing to do. It's the compassionate thing to do. And if the tables were turned, we would hope that somebody would reach out, give us a helping hand, and it's such a kind of a no-brainer when you think about it, that we need to take care of each other in this world. I think that telling these stories about people in need is a call to action. telling that story and showing that, there's people that are in desperate situations. This could be us.
Yeah.
These people living happy lives in very normal circumstances and places, and suddenly they're thrust into this terrible political situation or natural disaster through no fault of their own. And, we really need to lend a helping hand. Sometimes people, look at, people are brown, they're black, they're, whatever. And there's a reluctance because they don't look like me if they come from a white, background. But it's just something we just have to do as a world, to reach out, help people, and just be sense of compassion and caring and wanting to help people who are in these desperate needs. I mean, it's unfathomable to think of children getting on a truck, being evacuated in the middle of the night, being hungry and thirsty, cold. We've seen those pictures, and it's heartbreaking. So the best thing, the thing we can do, the action we can perform, is by a donation or a call to a government agency or whatever. We can help. We have to help.